appreciate it because at the end of the day we're competitors, and what she's done for us and paved the way to even for us to be here. We're eternally grateful for her.
You can also feel the buzz in the city about what we're going to be able to do. As long as we focus one game at a time, I think we'll be in a great spot.
I can't really put my finger on it, but I think for us, in retrospect, it was about changing the dynamic and the culture of the Indiana Fever.
Guess what? The Indiana Fever's playoff schedule just got leaked, and it's wild. They're facing the Connecticut Sun, and let me tell you, this matchup is gonna be fire. But here's the kicker. Kelsey Mitchell's got a knee brace on. Is she gonna play? We need to talk about this. So here's the deal. The Fever are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2016. That's right, it's been 8 years. Can you believe it? They're starting their series against the Sun on September 22nd with a possible Game 3 on the 27th. This is huge for Indiana. But you know what's even crazier? This schedule isn't just about dates. It's about the Fever's whole journey. From underdogs to playoff contenders, they've got a lot to prove. And with Mitchell's injury and Clark's rookie fire, things are about to get intense. You ready for this roller coaster? Because we're just getting started. Now let's zoom in on that injury I mentioned. Picture this. It's the final game of the regular season. The crowd's roaring. Suddenly, silence falls as Kelsey Mitchell hits the floor, clutching her knee. In that moment, did the Fever's playoff fate change? The scene was tense. Mitchell, the Fever's scoring powerhouse, went down in the first half against the Washington Mystics. Fans held their breath. Teammates looked on with worry. This wasn't just any game. It was the last step before the playoffs, a moment the Fever had been working towards for 8 long years. But here's where things get tricky. The Fever are keeping their cards close to their chest. We don't know exactly how bad Mitchell's knee injury is. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Coach Christy Sides tried to calm everyone down, saying Mitchell's absence was just a precaution. But come on, we all know that in the world of sports, precaution can mean a lot of things. So what does this mean for the Fever's showdown with the Connecticut Sun? Mitchell's been on fire lately, dropping over 20 points per game. That's not just good, that's game-changing. Without her at full strength, the Fever's offense might look completely different. Imagine your coach Sides right now. You're about to face a tough Sun team, and your star player might not be at 100%. Do you risk playing her and potentially making the injury worse? Or do you keep her on the bench and hope the rest of the team can step up?
I've never not wanted, good for, the people around me. And because I put my pride in the work and I put my head down to do that.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA.
Speaking of stepping up, this could be a golden opportunity for some of the Fever's other players. Sometimes adversity creates heroes. Maybe we'll see someone unexpected rise to the occasion. Could this be Caitlin Clark's moment to shine even brighter? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The big question on everyone's mind is, will Mitchell play? And if she does, how effective will she be? A knee injury isn't just about pain. It can affect a player's speed, agility, and confidence. Even if Mitchell suits up, she might not be the same explosive player we're used to seeing. This is where the mental game comes into play. The Fever have fought hard to get here, overcoming years of disappointment. They've got momentum, they've got talent, but now they've got uncertainty too. How they handle this setback could define their entire playoff run. Here's something to think about. Sometimes, challenges like this can bring a team closer together. Maybe this injury will light a fire under the rest of the squad. Maybe they'll rally around Mitchell and play with even more passion and determination. Speaking of determination, there's one player who's been on a mission since day one. Caitlin Clark entered the league with sky-high expectations. Now, as the playoffs loom, has she lived up to the hype, or has she somehow managed to exceed it? Let's talk numbers, because Clark's rookie season has been nothing short of incredible. She's averaging 18.7 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.9 rebounds per game. That's not just good for a rookie, that's superstar territory. And those assists? She's not just leading rookies, she's leading the entire league. That's insane for a first-year player. But here's what's even crazier. Clark isn't just putting up stats. She's making history. She recorded the first rookie triple-double in WNBA history. Think about that for a second. In all the years the league has been around, no rookie had ever done that until Caitlin Clark showed up. You know what's really impressive? How much she's grown throughout the season. Clark herself said, "It feels night and day from where I started." That's not just talk. You can see it in her game. Her shooting has gotten better and better. Since August, she's been hitting 39% of her three-pointers. That's a massive improvement, and it's changing how teams have to defend the Fever. Imagine you're an opposing coach trying to game plan against Clark. At first, you might think, okay, she's a rookie, we can rattle her. But then you watch the tape and you realize this isn't your average first-year player. She's got the scoring touch of a veteran, the court vision of a point guard who's been in the league for years, and the confidence of a player who knows she belongs.
You know, this group, that draft class that came out, you know, they've taken really good leaps at making teams better, and I think C-Square has done that for us.
I mean, I'm just really happy for this organization, obviously. Yeah, I mean, look at these fans, they're incredible, so if it wasn't for them, I don't know if they'd be here.
What makes Clark so special is how she combines scoring and playmaking. Some players can do one or the other, but Clark does both at an elite level. When defenses try to trap her or blitz her, she doesn't panic. She finds the open teammate or creates space for herself. It's like watching a chess master. She's always thinking 2 moves ahead. But here's the thing that really sets Clark apart. Her leadership. As the season has progressed, you can see her taking more control on the court. She's not just running the plays, she's orchestrating the entire offense, and her teammates are thriving because of it. Just look at how well she and Kelsey Mitchell have been playing together in the backcourt. Now, with the playoffs coming up, all eyes are on Clark. Can she keep this up when the pressure's at its highest? Some might worry that a rookie would crumble in the postseason spotlight, but everything we've seen from Clark suggests she's built for these moments. Think about it. She's already faced every defensive scheme in the book. She's gone up against the league's best players. And she's not just survived, she's thrived. That kind of experience is invaluable heading into the playoffs. Clark's regular season heroics have been impressive, but now comes the real challenge. The Fever are staring down a 1-3 record against the Sun. So how does an underdog team flip the script in the playoffs? Let's break this down. That 1-3 record against the Sun, it's not just a number, it's a story of defensive struggles and missed opportunities. The Fever's defense has been their Achilles heel all season, ranking 11th in defensive rating. Against a powerhouse like the Sun, that's a recipe for disaster, right? But here's where things get interesting. The Fever's coaching staff isn't sitting back and accepting defeat. They've been tweaking their player rotations, and it's all about maximizing Clark's impact. Imagine a chess game where suddenly your opponent's pawn becomes a queen. That's what the Fever are doing with Clark. You know what's crazy? Clark's ability to draw defensive attention is changing the whole game. Los Angeles coach Kurt Miller put it perfectly. She's got incredible range, but it just opens up the floor for everybody else. It's like Clark has a gravitational pull on the court, and her teammates are the planets benefiting from her orbit.
Indianapolis' finest. Big shot.
Made an effort to get up and put pressure on people. They're fast, I know, but if we can continue to do that, that's just gonna have to be a habit.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does this help their defense? Well, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. With Clark running the show, the Fever's offensive chemistry has gone through the roof. They're not just scoring more, they're controlling the pace of the game. Like, picture this. The Sun come in expecting to exploit the Fever's defensive weaknesses, but suddenly, they're the ones on their heels trying to keep up with Clark's lightning quick passes and deep threes. It's like showing up to a boxing match and realizing your opponent learned karate. Here's where being the underdog might actually be an advantage. The pressure's all on the Sun, they're expected to win, but the Fever, they've got nothing to lose, and teams with nothing to lose are dangerous. Think about it. The Fever have been improving all season. Their offense is clicking. Their young star is shining brighter every game, and now they're heading into a series where everyone's counting them out. That's fuel for the fire. Remember, playoff basketball is a different beast. Regular season records? They don't mean much when the stakes are this high. It's all about who wants it more, who's willing to dig deeper. The Fever might be underdogs on paper, but they've got something special brewing. That mix of Clark's rookie fire, the team's improved chemistry, and the hunger to prove everyone wrong, it's a potent combination. So, yeah, the Sun might have the experience and the better record, but the Fever, they've got the element of surprise. And in the playoffs, sometimes that's all you need to spark an upset. You think the Sun versus Fever matchup is David versus Goliath? Just wait till you hear about the Fever's season-long Cinderella story. How does a team become only the second in WNBA history to make the playoffs after such a nightmare start? Picture this, the Indiana Fever, 1-8 to start the season. Fans are dejected, critics are sharpening their knives, and it looks like another year of disappointment. But then something magical happened. This team, written off by everyone, decided to flip the script. After the Olympic break, it was like watching a completely different squad. The Fever caught fire, winning 18 out of their last 29 games. That's not just good, that's a total transformation. They went from basement dwellers to playoff contenders faster than you can say Cinderella story. But here's the kicker, they didn't just squeak into the playoffs. The Fever made history. They became only the second team ever in the WNBA to make the postseason after starting 1-8 or worse. The last time this happened? Way back with the Charlotte Sting, a team that doesn't even exist anymore. So what changed? How did they pull off this miracle turnaround? It wasn't just luck or a few good games.
If I'm gonna go out anyway, I'm going out on my sword and my own 2 feet, and I think I pride myself on.
That's how skilled you are. It's the other end that y'all gotta start taking way more pride in and understanding like that is gonna win us games.
Head coach Christy Side spilled the tea, saying, "We've gotten punched and we've had to grow up really fast." That's the secret sauce right there. Adversity made this team stronger. And let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell for a second. This woman has been on an absolute tear since the Olympic break, averaging a mind-blowing 24.9 points per game. That's not just good, that's superstar level. Mitchell's offensive explosion has been like rocket fuel for the Fever's comeback. But it wasn't just about individual performances, the whole team started clicking. Their chemistry went through the roof. You know why? More practice time and a settled rotation. It's like they finally found their groove, and once they did, there was no stopping them. But now, here's where it gets really interesting. All this improvement, all this success, it's put the Fever back in the spotlight. And you know what? They're loving it. The increased attention isn't weighing them down, it's firing them up. It's like they're feeding off the energy, using it to push themselves even harder. But let's zoom out for a second and appreciate just how big this is for the franchise. The Fever just ended a 7-season playoff drought. 7 seasons. That's the longest in WNBA history. Imagine being a Fever fan, waiting year after year, hoping for a turnaround. And now finally it's happening. And so here we are on the brink of the playoffs. The Fever are about to face the Connecticut Sun. On paper, sure, they're the underdogs. But after everything they've been through this season, after the way they've fought back, this team is dangerous. This playoff series isn't just another game for the Fever. It's the next chapter in their incredible Cinderella story. They've already proven they can overcome the odds. They've shown they can bounce back from a terrible start. Now they have a chance to shock the world again. Alright, let's talk about what this playoff run really means for the Fever. We've seen the leaked schedule, the drama with Mitchell's injury, and Clark's rookie fireworks. But here's the real deal. This is more than just a playoff appearance. It's a whole new chapter for the franchise. Think about it. The Fever are stepping out of Tamika Catchings' shadow and into a new era. Clark's not just a rookie, she's looking like the future face of the team. And that offensive explosion since the Olympic break, it's showing everyone that the Fever aren't here to make up the numbers. Win or lose against the Sun, this series is huge. It's the Fever's chance to change how people see them. From struggling team to playoff contenders, that's a big leap. And you know what? It could be the start of something special in Indiana. The Fever are back, folks, and they're here to stay.